Today I'm sharing the process of how I installed a 12-volt air condition on my truck camper. The brand I used was Modspioneers. They sent me an air con to test out. I'm gonna share the install process with you, how much it draws compared to the old one, what you might need to get before you do the install, things that went wrong for me, hopefully that you can avoid. If you've ever camped off grid through a heat wave, you know how crucial it is to get a 12-volt air condition. I would have loved to have this at Burning Man. It was so hot and there was nowhere to escape it. Right now I have original unit which runs on shore power. My generator was how I use that. It uses a lot of fuel and my generator has been hit or miss these days. I have not bought another generator. I was so excited to get this 12-volt air condition. I did have some hiccups through this install, so I'll give you my warnings along the way. Step one was getting the old air condition off the roof, and it was so heavy. Oh my gosh. Wait, that was way easier than y'all made that way. That seemed like such a big thing to me. Taking it apart from the inside was fairly simple. You take off the knobs and you unplug it, unscrew a couple bolts for the bracket, but I needed help getting that heavy air condition onto the ground again. That was probably my least favorite part of this whole thing, was getting the old one off of my roof. So I decided to use the old AC hole and I cleaned it down with mineral spirits before installing the next one. I also got a couple of guys to help me bring the new one onto the roof, but the benefit of this 12-volt air condition was it was not nearly as heavy as the old one. So the cutout for the old unit fit perfectly with the Modspioneer new one. Yay, I didn't have to do any more cutting there. The new one came with a gasket and I added sealant under the gasket like they said. You also want to be sure to keep the holes clear for the condensation to drain out. I'll show you exactly where those holes should be so that your gasket doesn't obstruct that. I also created a template using cardboard, so I knew exactly where I'd have to drill the holes into the roof for the bolts that would secure the air condition to my roof. I ran one last test on the old AC unit just to see how much power it was drawing and to show you the noise level. I'll compare that one to the new noise level. The old one was loud, really loud. First, I'm gonna show you what the aircon I've got right now sounds like. So here it is, low fan, low cool. Okay, we're on eco mode. So silent. It barely made noise, especially compared to how loud the other one was. I remember if I wanted to play music in my laptop, but I had the air condition going, like I'd have to put on headphones so I could hear my music because my old air condition was so loud and this one was so quiet. It works really well. It takes a lot to start it up. Energy wise, I'm actually plugged into my neighbor right now to get power because my generator, I think it's on its last limb. That was the reason I was really excited about this 12-volt is I've been having problems with my generator for about 6 months now.
You got 112.6 volts, 9.27 amps, and looks like 1,043 watts.
Thanks. You want to be in my video?
Sure.
This is Justin.
Hello.
What's your Insta?
The Outlier Archive. Yeah.
So he's got a residential inverter and all of that, and I was like, please help me. I just started my aircon. I've got it at 16 degrees Celsius, so it's getting powered up. I have my computer plugged in right now. It was drawing 49 watts. It's building, and it looks like now it's drawing 365 watts, but I'll have to take off about 50 watts for the power draw of my computer. So essentially we're looking at 320 watts draw versus the 1100 of my old aircon plugged into shore power, which that one had been running for a minute, so it was a little bit lower. I essentially gave you a bit of a better number for the AC because it had been running for a second, and it draws a lot in the beginning and then kind of slows down once it gets up to temperature. The lower power usage of this 12 volt is really amazing, and in the future I'm really excited to try it on eco mode and like have it going all night. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more power, so I'm gonna have to upgrade my solar setup this winter, and I'll run those numbers after I do that. My roof is 3.5 inches thick. I had to order longer bolts than it came with the unit. I bought M8 threaded bolts. I cut them to size after the install. I just used an angle grinder and cut them to size. They were too long inside. Inside, the inner brackets didn't line up perfectly. I think that they had designed this system for a van, and there were other holes that you could use for your install, which I did not. So my brackets were closer together than where I chose to put the bolts. So when I tried to put the faceplate on, the brackets were coming too far out, and so I had to get my friend to angle grind and cut off a bit of the bracket to make the faceplate work. The wiring also wasn't perfect. It said that they had 14 feet of cable, and I needed a bit more than it. Actually was somewhere around 10 feet, so I had to add an extra foot. I had to order butt connectors and an extra amount of 6-gauge cable for the install. You really want to be careful when it comes to adding more cable. I added another foot, but you're not supposed to add too much more, and you're supposed to check if your wire is getting hot or if you're losing voltage, because you might just need to add a thicker gauge cable to the air condition if 10 feet isn't long enough for you. I really wish that they'd advertise 10 usable feet, because when they say 14 feet, then you're measuring 14 feet to your battery array, and I needed more than that. I needed 11 feet. The best part for me once it was all hooked up was testing out the new aircon and seeing how little it drew. It drew about 25 amps. I've already worked in my camper a couple times in the afternoons and needed aircon, and I just turn it on. It's running such little draw. It's just no trying to start up my generator and using a bunch of propane, or just not being able to start up my generator and burning up. I'm so grateful for this aircon. I love it so much. I cannot believe I took on this project. That is so unlike me, but I didn't have anyone else to do it. Even if you're a strong guy working on this, I would recommend getting a couple of your friends to come over to help you get the air condition on your roof safely and the old one off safely. The rest you can pretty much do yourself. Besides having a couple modifications and needing to order some electrical tools and extend my electrical, the most difficult part is just getting the old one off your roof and the new one the new one on your roof. But that size difference, I believe the new one's 40 pounds and the old one's 80 pounds, so it's definitely easier. I would recommend going 12 volt if you want to be off grid, and having a strong battery, solar array. So my solar array is 400 watts of solar and 800 amp hours of battery. If I really feel like I need more solar at this point, my batteries are good, but it takes me a long time to recharge my batteries. So I think to use this aircon for an extended period of time, I'm gonna have to up my solar array, but this is so much better than running a generator. Just to wrap it up before my memory card runs out of storage, the Modspioneer unit, really, this is one of the biggest game changers ever in my camper. It sips power. It is so quiet. I fully regret not getting this install done sooner. I'll put a link below for the extra bolts I needed. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm so excited to be sharing this new technology with you guys. 12-volt air conditioners are becoming more accessible price, and there's more on the market. I'm excited to share Modspioneers. Thank you to them for letting me test their air condition. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, bye. Oh, I want to show you my outfit. All right, you've seen this purple dress before. I got bright blue shoes on. And then this is my jacket. I don't remember where I got it. Fuzzy, cute. I'm going like bright and bold these days.